remember that woman?
No. Don't do it.
She begged and cried and pleaded too, didn't she?
Please let me. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Vigilante Westerns. The vigilante film is a film genre in which the protagonist or protagonists engage in vigilante behavior, taking the law into their own hands. Vigilante films are usually revenge films in which the legal system fails protagonists, leading them to become vigilantes. Today, we will see how Western vigilante films have fared. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you enjoyed this video, hit the notification button to get my new videos. If you want to check out my many other videos, head over to my channel and check out my Facebook page. The links are in the description. Please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel as well. I appreciate it. Let's get into it. The Oxbow Incident, 1942. Henry Fonda was generally unhappy with the quality of the films he had to do while under contract to 20th Century Fox. This was one of only 2 films from that period that he was actually enthusiastic about starring in. The other was The Grapes of Wrath, 1940.
We want to act in a reasoned and legitimate manner, not like a lawless mob.
Thought you liked excitement.
I got nothing particular against hanging a murdering rustler. Just I like doing it in the dark.
A hanging? Well, what have we done? With your permission, gentlemen, we'll wait till daylight.
Aren't you even going to tell us what we're accused of?
Rustling. Ever hear of it?
Rustling.
The Bravados, 1958. Jim Douglas, Gregory Peck, is a rancher pursuing 4 outlaws he is convinced murdered his wife 6 months before. He rides into Rio Arriba, where these 4 men, Alfonso Perel, Bill Zachary, Ed Taylor, and Lou Jin, are in jail, awaiting execution for an unrelated murder. Sheriff Eloy Sanchez allows Douglas to see the men.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I know how you feel. Go after them, Jim, and catch them. Get them before. Kill them! Kill them! Kill them!
Look at the picture.
What about her? Who is she?
She was raped and killed.
Shane, 1953. Shane, a skilled gunfighter with a mysterious past, rides into an isolated valley in the Wyoming Territory in 1889. He is hired as a farmhand by hardscrabbler rancher Joe Starrett, who is homesteading with his wife, Marianne, and their young son, Joey. Starrett tells Shane that a war of intimidation is being waged on the valley's settlers, though they have claimed their land legally under the Homestead Acts. A ruthless cattle baron, Rufus Riker, has hired various rogues and henchmen to harass them and force them out of the valley.
Deadly conflict.
I've heard about you.
What have you heard, Shane?
I've heard that you're a low-down Yankee liar.
The Searchers, 1956. A western directed by John Ford and based on the 1954 novel by Alan LeMay, set during the Texas Indian Wars, stars John Wayne as a middle-aged Civil War veteran who spends years looking for his abducted niece, Natalie Wood, accompanied by his adopted nephew, Jeffrey Hunter.
John Wayne is Ethan Edwards, who had a rare kind of courage, never thinking of himself as martyred, never thinking of himself as brave.
So we'll find him in the end, I promise you. We'll find him.
Here is the story of a man, hard and relentless, tender and passionate, of people who dared to challenge a hostile land.
What you saw was a buck wearing Lucy's dress. I found Lucy back in the canyon.
What was she?
What do you want me to do? Draw you a picture? Spell it out? Don't ever ask me. As long as you live, don't ever ask me more.
Go, Martin, please.
Stand aside, Martin.
Oh, you don't, Ethan.
Ethan, no, you don't! Stand aside.
Seven Men From Now, 1956. A Western directed by Bud Botticher, starring Randolph Scott, Gail Russell, and Lee Marvin. Ben Stride walks into a desert cave encampment during a nighttime rainstorm, encounters two men taking shelter next to a fire, and asks to join them. Stride tells the men he is from the town of Silver Springs, which provokes a mysterious reaction from the two men. They discuss a robbery and murder that recently occurred there. When Stride realizes who the men are, he guns them down.
Like burning brands lighting the trail of those he hunted. 7 men. 7 of the fastest guns in the West.
The Sons of Katie Elder, 1965. The 4 sons of Katie Elder: John, a famous professional gunman; Tom, a professional gambler; Bud, the youngest brother, in his first year of mining college; and Matt, an unsuccessful hardware dealer, reunite in their hometown of Clearwater in 1898 for their mother's funeral, sharing regret that none of them have lived up to her high expectations of them.
By Big John, the eldest, the gunslinger, the toughest. Tom, the gambler, who would play any game at any odds.
I'm getting out of here.
Matt, the quiet one, the dangerous one. Bud, the kid, who had to be taught what it meant to be an elder and a man.
John, this guy just called Pa a liar and a drunk. That invitation to pick up a gun still hold for Johnny Elder?
Put them in chains before they dared to kill them in ambush.
Look out!
Once Upon a Time in the West, 1968. A spaghetti western directed by Sergio Leone and stars Henry Fonda, cast against type as the villain, Charles Bronson as his nemesis, Jason Robards as a bandit, and Claudia Cardinale as a newly widowed homesteader. The film is the first installment in Leone's Once Upon a Time trilogy, followed by Duck You Sucker and Once Upon a Time in America, though the films do not share any characters in common.
The widow, the land grabber, the outlaw, the gunman. The man in search of a name.
The Wild Bunch, 1969. A revisionist western directed by Sam Peckinpah, starring William Holden, Ernest Borgnine, Robert Ryan, Edmund O'Brien, Ben Johnson, and Warren Oates. The plot concerns an aging outlaw gang on the Mexico-United States border, trying to adapt to the changing modern world of 1913. The film was controversial because of its graphic violence and its portrayal of crude men attempting to survive by any available means.
He still had a principle or two.
We're not getting rid of anybody. We're gonna stick together just like it used to be. When you side with a man, you stay with him, and if you can't do that, you're like some animal. You're finished.
You meet my fiancée.
Ulzana's Raid, 1972. A revisionist western starring Burt Lancaster, Richard Jekyll, Bruce Davison, and Joaquin Martinez. Filmed on location in Arizona. Directed by Robert Aldrich, based on a script by Alan Sharp. Portrays a brutal raid by Chiricahua Apaches against European settlers in 1880s Arizona. The bleak and nihilistic tone of US troops chasing an elusive, merciless enemy has been seen as allegory to the United States' participation in the Vietnam War.
man.
Cut her loose. She's not dead. Why do you suppose they spared Mrs. Reardon?
Maybe they thought she was dead. Susanna, leave woman for you to find.
Lad, if they come back, promise me you won't let them take me.
Their probable intention is to burn, maim, torture, and murder.
Where will he fight us?
You don't mean to fight you no place, Lieutenant. He only means to kill you.
The Outlaw Josie Wales, 1976. During the American Civil War, the wife and son of Missouri farmer Josie Wales are murdered by pro-Union paramilitaries, led by the brutal Captain Terrell. After burying their corpses, Wales seeks vengeance for his family by joining a group of Confederate bushwhackers under the command of William T. Anderson, attacking the Union Army and pro-Union sympathizers. After the war ends in 1865, Wales's superior, Captain Fletcher, persuades his men to surrender, having been promised amnesty by the Union General Jim Lane. However, Terrell's men massacre the bushwhackers after they surrender, with Wales, Fletcher, and fellow bushwhacker Jamie being the only survivors. Wales and Jamie flee, and Lane forces Fletcher to assist Terrell in hunting them down. A mortally wounded Jamie helps Wales kill 2 bounty hunters before dying.
And when you're an outlaw, there's no turning back.
You're all alone now, Wales.
Not quite alone.
Enjoyed the video? Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate your likes, shares, and subscribers. Hit the notification button to get my new videos. Take a look at my channel and check out my Facebook page. The links are in the description. I am Wrangler. Bye for now. See you again soon.
He's an army of one.
Interesting facts about famous people.